Should I start? Yes? Okay. Welcome everyone to the Hebrew College Cantorial Ordination. I'm Cantor Ilana Rosenfeld, the interim director of the COSEL Cantorial program. Our ordinees have worked very hard over the past few years, deepening their skills as musicians, educators, community engagers, vessels for pastoral comfort and for prayer. And I'm now honored to introduce the president of Hebrew College, Rabbi Sharon Cohen-Anisfeld, who will give a few words of Torah.
Thank you so much, Ilana. I want to add my warm welcome and mazal tov to all of you and your families and friends and fans. We're so delighted to be able to celebrate with you today, to recognize your accomplishments, to honor all that you've done to reach this moment. But even more importantly, to honor not just what you've done, but who you've become. We're so proud of each of you, and we send you out into the world now with our blessings as we confer upon you the title of Cantor Chazan B'Yisrael. This is an extraordinary and challenging moment in which to be stepping into the responsibilities of spiritual and communal leadership. Just a little while ago, I spoke about the deep well of courage and empathy and imagination upon which you will need to draw in your work. You all are blessed with a very special gift, the gift of being able to bring music into people's lives, being able to lift the spirit with song, being able to bring voices together in harmony. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks writes beautifully about the spiritual power of song in a commentary on Parashat Ha'azinu. I once watched a teacher, he says, explaining to young children the difference between a physical possession and a spiritual one. He had them build a paper model of Jerusalem. Then, this was in the days of tape recorders, he put on a tape with a song about Jerusalem that he taught to the class. At the end of the session, he did something very dramatic. He tore up the model and shredded the tape. He asked the children, "Do we still have the model?" And they replied, "No." Then he asked the children, "Do we still have the song?" And they replied, "Yes." We lose physical possessions, but not spiritual ones. The song lives on. May you use your gifts well. May you be vessels for holiness and for hope in the world. I'd now like to introduce one of this year's ordinees, Jen Boyle.
We, the graduates, would like to take this time, when we are gathered together as one community, to recognize the person who has been the heart and the soul of the School of Jewish Music at Hebrew College. Marcia Spelman, who has gone above and beyond her role as administrator, is now moving on to serve Hebrew College in their position of registrar. Marcia, we couldn't let you go without telling you how much you mean to us. We've gathered together words from alumni, colleagues, and friends who all wanted to bless you. You will be receiving later this week a book that contains all of their blessings, but for today, we wanted to share snippets of what others have said about you and let their words express how we all feel. Marcia, you came in a time of flux and upheaval, and your staying brought us strength. You came to us with a love of music, and you came to love the cantorate. We knew right from the beginning you were a gem, a gift from heaven, and we were so fortunate that the admin for the School of Jewish Music was herself a knowledgeable and committed Jew, a lover and singer of music. Marcia, Your behind-the-scenes work allows us all to illuminate the Jewish world. You remind me of that guy on TV in the 1960s who kept the plates spinning, sure and steady, kind and gracious. You have quietly taken care of all that makes a house run. Without you, our home could not function, grow, and live fully. We have been led to believe you are human, yet you seem to have multiple brains, eyes and ears in the back of your head, octopoid limbs, and more heart than any one person should possess. You always lifted our spirits, and your caring, nurturing presence always made our days better. You have an ability to be present with your whole being and soul for each and every situation. I've always been impressed with how you remember everyone's story and with lightness and ease bring compassion to every interaction. Thank you, dear, wonderful Marcia, for all your guidance and wise counsel and your friendship. I don't need to wish you luck in your new position because you absolutely don't need it. I mostly would like to congratulate Hebrew College for convincing you to become registrar. My blessing for you, then, is that we should live up to your blessing for us. May you continue to be blessed with health in your family and carry a psalm in your soul. May you be blessed with the kind of help that always comes with chesed. May you be blessed with the sort of listening that happens with genuine understanding. May you be offered hope, kindness, and renewal by someone as willing and able as you are. May you go from strength to strength through many more years of touching lives. Mazel tov.
I have to unmute just to say thank you. I'm extremely touched by all of you, and it's been my joy and pleasure and honor to be in the School of Jewish Music for these years. Thank you, Jen, and all of you.
Thank you, Marcia. Mazel tov. My name is Dan Judson. I'm the Dean of the program, and it's my honor to, at this moment, call forward each of our graduates who's going to receive a blessing. This is the moments when each of our graduates are seen for who they are as their individual, unique souls and the talents that they're going to bring to the cantorate. So I'll call their names one by one. When I call their name, they're going to take a moment to gather themselves together, put on a talit, a special Hebrew College talit that they've been given, and a faculty member will offer them a blessing. This moment, we're going to call on Cantor Jen Boyle, and Cantor Louise Treitman will give her her blessing.
Jen, Perek Shirah, literally chapter of song, is an ancient Jewish text mentioned as early as the 10th century. It says that God's creatures, plants and animals, mountains and rivers, sing out to the Creator in their own ways. Perek Shirah attributes a special biblical verse to each one. For example, the rivers say, "Let the rivers clap their hands together and the mountains sing in joy," Psalm 98. Or the trees say, "Then shall all the forest trees cry out for joy before the One," Psalm 96. I was wondering what you say, what you sing. And these words from your bat mitzvah portion, Bishalach, seemed perfect. Exodus 15:20 celebrates Miriam the prophetess as she, quote, "took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her and danced with timbrels. And Miriam chanted for them, 'Sing to God, for God has triumphed. Shiru l'Adonai, ki ga'o ga'a.'" You, Jen, sing to God, and you bring your instruments to God, and you lead people to God. You also hear God in nature. And so I offer you this beautiful piece, Song of the Grasses by Naomi Shemer, based on a teaching by Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav. Quote, you should know that each and every shepherd has his own unique melody. You should know that every blade of grass has its own unique song. And from the song of the grasses, a shepherd's melody is made. Jen, you have been on an incredible journey that has held music at its center since you were very little. At your core is the light of song, and its radiance shines forth on this day and on every day. Elisheva Sivan, you have been emerging, growing into the beautiful cantor that you will become. You said yes in this same month of Sivan 5 years ago, and you said yes to Hebrew College 4 years ago. You said yes to Temple Beth Tikva in Madison, Connecticut this year, and you will say yes to your beloved this summer. You have stepped up and said, Hineni, I'm here, God. Thanks for being with me on this journey. Jen, you will be such a gift to your new community because you know how to listen, how to be present. You know when to offer your voice, and you know when to step back and let others shine. When you talked about your love of nature, I knew Naomi Shemer's melody was the perfect blessing for you this day. In fact, I can hear you singing this mystical opening solo. I know that as the shepherd, you will open your heart to the unique song of the grasses of all nature. As the cantor, you will listen to the unique melodies of your congregants. You will listen deeply, and it will be from those songs that your melody will emerge. Shirat HaAsadim. שכל רואה ורואה, יש לו ניגון מיוחד משלו. דע לך שכל עשב ועשב יש לו שירה מיוחדת משלו ומשירת העשבים נעשה ניגון של רועה. May you be blessed.
Rachel. Yes. Rachel. I'm trying to find you. There you go. It's hard balancing different windows here. All right, give you a second to find your talit. Our connection began when I was your coach last year, before I was serving as interim director. And we hit it off immediately. It was so much fun to coach you. Part of the reason was because you were deeply curious. You wanted to know everything there was to know about how to be the most effective cantor you can be. And what struck me deeply as we learned together was that you were not approaching the cantorate with preconceived notions of of what it is exactly or what kind of cantor you expect to be. I don't mean that you didn't know what the cantor it was or didn't have beliefs about the role. Rather, you approached your role as cantor with humility and flexibility. You have a beautiful voice, an opera background, but you didn't assume that you would graduate to serve a massive synagogue in which you concertize 5 times a year. In fact, one of our meetings, you told me something along the lines of, I think I want pastoral work to be front and center in my cantorate. In fact, I might even want to become a chaplain. When you said that, I was both surprised and not surprised at all. I admit, my first thought was, she has such a beautiful voice, a congregation would just love her. But then immediately my second thought was, of course she wants to do more pastoral work. She'd be great at it. Why? Because Rachel, there's no more delicate way to say this, you ooze empathy. You are such an empathetic person. You are humble and loving, and you want to make a difference. And you will. You will make a difference with your voice. As cantors, we use our voices in different ways in order to connect. Sometimes we move people through performance and frontal davening. I know it's not the most popular belief, but I've found it to be true. And there are also more subtle ways in which we use our voices. Our presence, and we also use our music to bring relief and joy to others. And you know this more than most because you just wrote a thesis about it, entitled Jewish Music and Memory, the Effects of Music on Elders Experiencing Memory Loss. You wrote that powerful thesis because of your own concerns about the elderly and how can you help them through your music. I have high hopes for you, Rachel. I wrote that in bold. However you choose to use your cantorial education, your ordination, and your skills, whether it be the typical synagogue path or any kind of alternative path, your kindness, your voice will bring so much good to the world. It says in Psalm 112, Zarach v'choshech or laisharim, a light shines for the upright in the darkness. Chanun v'achum v'tzadik. He is gracious, compassionate, and beneficent. My blessing for you, Rachel, is that you will shine your light over those who are living in darkness because you are gracious, compassionate, and beneficent. Behatzlacha. And I'm going to bless David, so I'm going to give you a moment to get your talit. Ready?
Go ahead.
So, David, it feels like we've known each other for so long, even though it's been less than a year. When I began my position here at Hebrew College, you were there the whole time to help wherever I needed. And really, it was to help the program because you are a leader. You are a leader. And I just want to take a moment to address your nature as a leader. Some people lead with bravado. Look at me, I'm a leader. I'm strong, right? But that's not you. That's not how you lead. In fact, while you're perfectly comfortable taking center stage, as we saw in your recital, which is also important for a cantor, and it is one of the ways in which we engage our communities, that's not your leading style. You lead by empowering others. When the cantorial students needed a tefillah group of their own, you helped make it happen. Not for yourself, but for your classmates. In fact, you also used it as an opportunity to help some of the less experienced classmates emerge and grow. You didn't just sign them up to daven, you sat with them, learned with them, encouraged them. You've made a difference at Hebrew College. And I know that you will make a difference at Temple Beth Am. And they are so lucky to have you. I remember once telling you that during the course of your career in a particular shul, if you've made yourself completely unnecessary, then you've had a successful career. And I know it sounds weird, but you understood me perfectly. You understood that you would make yourself unnecessary because you would have empowered others to the degree to which they would be able to go on without you in theory. But I imagine that a synagogue in this position would not choose to go on without you, because even if they could, because throughout the process of your having taught, trained, and empowered them, you will have developed meaningful connections and relationships. And I know you already have. And your community would be, and your community will be, so grateful to you for having strengthened them from the inside out. Do you remember this conversation? Yes. That is how you lead, David. And you are so ready. So I expect that you will make waves in the Jewish world, both with your gorgeous voice and your ability to express through that voice, with your selfless leadership style, and your passion to engage others. It says in Mishle chapter 3, B'tach el Adonai b'chol libecha, trust in God with all of your heart, ve'el binatcha al tisha'en, and don't rely on your own understanding. B'chol drachecha da'ehu, acknowledge God in all of your ways, ve'hu yasher orchotecha, and he will make your path smooth. So my blessing to you is that you will lead the way you know how, but that you will not rely only on yourself, but on your deep spiritual connection and on other people. It's with others' help and with God's help that you will become the best leader you can be. Mazal tov.
Thank you.
David, Rachel, and Jen, you have received and put on your talitot, your prayer shawls. You have received a personal blessing. Now it is time for us to lay our hands upon you and give you smicha, to ordain you as clay kodesh, as vessels of holiness, as clergy, as cantors, as chazanim. In normal times, we would be at the Holy Ark of Temple Rayam, and we would physically place our hands upon your shoulders and together chant responsively the priestly blessing, these familiar words from the book of Numbers. May God bless you and keep you. May God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you. May God's presence be with you and give you peace. So I ask you now to rise and invite you to feel God's blessing upon you at this holy moment.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha
Yael Adonai
Isa Adonai Panav Elecha V'yasem Adonai ay, ay, ay,
I'm going to invite each of our graduates to say a brief word. Jen, if we can start with you.
A lot easier to talk before. Never again did there arise in Israel a prophet like Moses, whom the Lord singled out face to face for the various signs and portents that the Lord sent him to display in the land of Egypt, against Pharaoh and all his courtiers and his whole countrymen, and for all the great might and awesome power that Moses displayed before all Israel. Today is a day of conclusions. I turned to the end of the Torah, the last verse that I just read, and I was reminded that I will never again see times like the ones I have in the past 4 years at Hebrew College. The time I have spent here is unique and precious and impossible to replicate elsewhere. Today marks the end of our formal cantorial study, and like many things in life, is bittersweet. Recently, my classmates reminded me that transition is also a time of renewal. On Simchat Torah, when we finish the Torah, we also begin it anew. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. In one breath, we complete the story of our people and we see the world reborn. This time of change is not just about endings, but also about new beginnings. Our faculty go from being just our teachers to also being our colleagues. Each of us is taking the first step on our new journeys. Today, I cease being a cantorial student at Hebrew College and become a cantor. In 8 days, I will go from being a resident of Massachusetts to a resident of Connecticut, and 1 month from engaged to married. A time of endings and a time of sweet beginnings awaits us. I want to thank those who are important to me and who are celebrating with me today. Of course, I can't name everybody who's been with me on this journey, but I would like to thank my family, my parents, Hermina and Patrick Boyle, my sisters who are watching, Jean and Julia and Josephine, and my sister Justine, whose presence I also feel with me today. To Corey, my fiance, to my cantorial cohort, Mayan, Dara, Melanie, and Monica, to my teachers, Brian, Lynn, Louise, Alana, for steering the ship, and to Marcia and Lorena for running a tight ship. To all the faculty and students who I've had the pleasure to learn with these past 4 years, to Bethel Temple Center at Belmont, to their staff and their teachers and families, to Temple Israel in Springfield, my high holiday community, and I'm already so grateful to Temple Beth Tikva, my new family, my new congregation, And I am just so grateful to have shared this journey with everyone. Thank you.
Hi. 3 years ago, I embarked on this journey, and I am so grateful for where it has led me to be. I lovingly remember being called a baby cantor, a baby educator. With the day-to-day changes on this earth, it is with acceptance, gratitude, and joy that I accept this charge to raise voices in truth and in song as my life's mission. Looking back at my time at Hebrew College, I notice that today there are two ideas that I'd like to raise to the surface that I'll keep with me forever, but today I think they're very appropriate. First, to live a joyous, balanced, and Jewish life, what works for me is something that came up, the idea of being Am Yisrael, literally the people that wrestle with God. We are the people of Israel. I also was invited over my time at Hebrew College to discover what is personally meaningful to me. I learned to notice and welcome encounters with the sparks of holiness in other people and with God that make me experience so much what it feels to be a shliach tzibur, a prayer leader, and a cantor, and what it feels like to say, Hineni, here I am, and accept the charge of every day. I am so grateful for my friends and for my teachers who brought everything in these past few years to life. To my family and my loved ones who are always with me, thank you. Thank you for carrying me and for holding me. To my mom and dad, there are no words to describe how much I love you and how grateful I am for all of your sacrifices. To my fellow graduates, my friends, there is no doubt in my mind or my heart that you are going to be doing wonderful things and impact so many people. Mazel tov, we did it.
I'm so grateful and honored by everyone who's here, by my friends and my teachers and my family. I'm feeling very emotional. Hebrew College has changed me. When I came to Hebrew College, I did not really understand how to be deeply invested in a Jewish community. And now at the end of my degree, I understand. And I'm so grateful for everyone around me for helping me change and supporting me and growing with me. And I found God in so many places these last few years, but especially in our holy community. When we are together and when we are honest and open with each other, we bring Shekhinah, the presence of God, amongst us. And I pray that my colleagues and I, cantors and rabbis and Jewish educators, we can build these kinds of holy, honest communities wherever we go for the rest of our lives. And music is so effective and so important at building community. Music, it brings us together in a unique way. When music is taking place, it consumes us. It makes us hyper aware, and it ties us to the present moment, the moment in which we are living. And when our community sings together or listens intensely together, we are in that moment together in a unique and special way. For that holy, fleeting, heightened moment. And I think that is the charge of the cantor, to make these moments happen, to facilitate these moments, to heighten these moments, to raise up our holy melody, our ne'imah kedosha, as it says in the blessings of the Shema in the morning. And I have learned so much from my teachers and from my friends and my present colleagues and future colleagues these last 3 years. So much about community, about God, and about this holy work. And I will never stop learning. I just feel so grateful to everyone.
Thank you all for those beautiful words. We're going to invite you now to sing Cantor Wolf, Cantor Boyle, and Cantor Slusky. I get to be the first one to use your official titles now. When they're done, Cantor Torgov will say a few words to close our ceremony.
This is a setting of Oseh Shalom, because even though the world needs action right now, I think we always need behind that action peace, always peace. So may we all have some peace and action.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu.
Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu.
Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael.
Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Huyaseh Shalom Aleinu.
Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So beautiful. It's so wonderful to hear you all. It's so wonderful to hear all of your voices.
It's so wonderful that we are all unmuted when we need to be, and quiet when we also need to be. Mazel tov, we are all so proud of you. I have some final words for you at the end of your momentous and deep study and time here at Hebrew College. At the end of the Pesach Seder, we ask, Shlosha mi yodea, who knows three? And the answer in the Haggadah is the three patriarchs. For Chazanim, 3 is the number of times the Chazan chants our most important liturgical texts. On the high holidays, standing in front of the open ark, the Chazan chants God's divine attributes 3 times, appealing to God's merciful tendencies. On the holiest night of the year, the courtroom scene is set in triplicate, with the 3-fold chanting of Kol Nidre. To be called to a pulpit to recite these most important texts on behalf of the congregation, the Halakha, Jewish law, instructs a prayer leader to be mindful of these 3 steps. In Brachot 34a, we read, one who is approached to serve as prayer leader for the sake of propriety should refuse, to avoid creating the impression that one is too eager. And if one does not refuse, but jumps at the opportunity, this person is like cooked food without salt, which is to say that they act in bad taste. However, if one refuses too much, this is similarly inappropriate, and this person is likened to cooked food that was ruined by too much salt. So, how should we act? When approached the first time, one should refuse. The second time, one should vacillate, like a wick that has just begun to catch flame. The third time, one should stretch their legs and go before the ark. This afternoon, we have ordained you as 3 cantors with the 3-fold priestly blessing. As you ascend to the role of Chazan, I want to reflect on these 3 stages of stepping up to lead. In your first year of cantorial education here at Hebrew College, you may have behaved like the person in the first stage of accepting prayer leadership, humble in your nascent knowledge, perhaps afraid to step out in front of the community, unsure of your fitness to lead. During the second year of your study, you were like that wick of a candle, eager to catch flame and spread the light, but not yet ready to step into leadership. And now, here, for all of you, at the end of your final year, you are no longer lacking in salt or oversalted. You are ready to accept the honor of leadership. You are ready to say yes. My blessing for you as you step into the time-honored role of Chazan is that you continue to be mindful of these 3 steps, to continue to be humble in the face of God and in the presence of your community, to step back and to the side, letting others lead, offer assistance and guidance, that you flicker like that flame, spreading light to those around you, leading together, enabling others to join you. As others catch the flame, the light grows. And finally, that when you know the time is right to step forward, to lead with grace, strength, and compassion. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehecheyanu, v'kiyamanu, v'higianu, lazman hazeh.
Amen.
Roots of blessing are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this sacred moment. Mazal Tov. And we say, Amen.
Mazel tov to our graduates. Thank you so much, Lynn. That was a beautiful, beautiful blessing. We have now ended our ritual. Mazel tov again to everybody. Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Woohoo!
Mazel tov, Simon tov, Mazel tov, Simon tov, Simon tov, Mazel tov, Mazel tov, Simon tov,
This is when we dance.
Simon tov.
This is when we dance, right?
Yes, we're dancing. Helanu.
Mazel tov, everyone. I need to make the webinar room available to the rabbis. So I hope to see you all there.
See you at the rabbi.
Mark, thank you all. Love you all. Stay in touch. Bye.
Bye-bye.